And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you being part of the broadcast here today. I know Josh Peterson, he will be on a little bit later in the program, but I really wanted to get into something a little bit different today because there's a serious issue I wanted covered here within the music industry, and that is the future of SoundCloud. The streaming community, as far as from an audio standpoint, it's all up in arms in regards to the future of SoundCloud. And who better to talk about the future of SoundCloud with me than our good friend, a man who has a really, really great channel that you need to follow on SoundCloud. It's Plazma Z, better known as Elijah Harrison. How are you, my friend?
Hello there. I'm doing pretty well. And yourself?
I'm doing all right, It's just great to have you back on the show. And first off, I want to publicly thank you so much for providing all this great music over the past few months. If you get a chance, everyone out there, check out his music on SoundCloud. That's Plazma Z. It's all Z's in there. And it's right there on SoundCloud. He's got a lot of great tracks for you. But I know you have seen the news and have been following it closely on the future of SoundCloud, because that is your, or has been your main source as far as people following your tracks. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's been kind of one of the big main sources. I haven't been following too much in depth because of just the way things have been going for me this year. I've been focusing on more of a physical approach with my music, which it does involve SoundCloud in part, but I've been trying to focus on getting performances. I actually had the pleasure of performing live in Hollywood, and that was incredible. We actually got invited back to Hollywood. So once
that's great news. I've actually saw part of that performance live, and you were tremendous during the broadcast. What I saw, and just great to see you doing so well. Well, I will let you know that SoundCloud itself has had its share of its problems in recent weeks, right, with two different offices closing, 40% of its workforce slashed, and also, what I was actually getting from Yahoo Finance, I was reading their reports, and they've gotten wind of news that if there's not something done in the next few weeks or so, not a deal brokered or anything like that, they could be out in as little as 80 days as far as the SoundCloud experience being cut right off at the knees. So I ask you, Elijah, as far as an artist who has quite a bit at stake on SoundCloud, what is this news? What is this kind of information does for you as far as your relationship with SoundCloud?
Man, goodness, as much as 80 days. I didn't read that much, but
well, that's the estimate that they're talking about. Independent analysts have said they may have enough cash on hand for 80 days. There's been also rumors that they might, sell a portion, a part, or all of the company. But also what's been frustrating as well is that there have been opportunities for the company earlier in its lifetime to actually sell or at least a stake in the business to other ventures, to other companies, but they've chose not to because they wanted to be, they wanted SoundCloud to be all encompassing, all themselves, and they wanted to succeed or fail on their own.
No, I think SoundCloud ultimately had and has had a really good cause. And, at heart, SoundCloud wanted to try and put the artist first. And I understand, with companies, it's not always what happens. Sometimes the artist doesn't come first. Sometimes they have to save their own hide. And, I completely get that. It's a business. But as far as my involvement with SoundCloud goes, I, personally over the years, I've used SoundCloud. I actually have two accounts. Plazma Z is my EDM account. And then back when I used to do hip hop, which is how I started, I actually had almost, I think I had 1,900 followers on that account. And, that's a significant amount more. But when I switched to EDM, kind of just left everything behind. I put a notification on the channel like, hey, follow a new channel, whatnot. Anyway, I've used SoundCloud over the years for a lot of networking, to meet a lot of new artists and to hear a lot of new music and discover a lot of new sounds. And it's been great. But as for actually getting myself out there, it's great to get yourself out there. But if you're, you know, it's, if we're being real here, putting yourself out there on SoundCloud is just going to get you out there on SoundCloud more often than not. And this year I kind of stepped up, and I was, earlier this year when I released my Level 1 album, I was on Submit Hub every day. I was on Submit Hub every day. And that's a website where you can actually go and submit your music to music blogs and record labels. And I got contacted by one record label, and I got 2 articles written about me by 2 music blogs. So that's Submit Hub. And that, after 100 unsuccessful submissions and 3 actual successful submissions in the 103 collectively, altogether, that's more exposure than I've ever gotten on SoundCloud. SoundCloud's never written an article about me, and that's fine. I'm not asking SoundCloud to do that. I'm not asking anyone on SoundCloud to do that. People have reposted my music. People follow me if they like my music, and that's all to do.
But that's great that you have other options, other viable ways of
Right.
getting the music out to the masses, and that's awesome that you do have that. And there are obviously alternatives to SoundCloud out there, but like you've said, SoundCloud was at one time the biggest name for artists as far as independent artists releasing their music on a platform and getting it out there to the public. There's still many options out there. So, as a social media or as a internet option, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to now, putting your music on outside of maybe possibly continuing with SoundCloud if it stays in business?
So if SoundCloud stays in business, yeah, I'd love to keep my following on there. I think I'm followed by 150 people on my EDM account, and I've gotten some wonderful words of encouragement and just kindness, and people loving the music I produce, and I'm really thankful for that.
Well, we love you here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, because I'll tell you what, as one of the mainstays here so far in the past few months, our music choices have really come, full circle as far as with your stuff and Hyperschmidt, and just really we're just so appreciative that your music really seems to go with a great flow with what we're doing here at Pop Culture Cosmos, and even our ads now have your song. So we truly are indebted to you for that as well.
And I am greatly appreciative of that. But yeah, I mean, with other options, and I hope other artists are hearing this as well. There was a time where I completely limited myself to SoundCloud. SoundCloud, Bandcamp, and Reverb Nation were the first 3 sites that I put myself out there on for music exposure. Now, I used a lot of resources, and a lot of them, yeah, you can send your music in, but I found Submit Hub to be, and it is increasingly useful. I found it to be really helpful with growing your brand in terms of introducing people to your music. You get to submit it to blogs, you get to submit it to record labels. Some of these blogs have YouTube channels. A lot of big music channels I've also found on YouTube. I've also submitted my music to, like No Copyright Sounds or Hero Board, I think it's called. So those are some other options. There's DistroKid, which is another service just like Submit Hub. I use Beatport as a really awesome resource. Kind of just checking It's like a chart. Top one, you get a top 100 chart of the top songs in EDM, and you can do hip hop as well. And you're just seeing what's out there, what's popular, what's new, what's hot, what's kind of phasing out. And that kind of helps you stay current and stay with the times and stay trending. So that is another awesome resource.
So that's obviously as well. Such services like that are obviously have taken a big bite out of SoundCloud, and the way SoundCloud generates income and revenue has obviously not been enough to share, to cover the costs of what they're doing. And it's great to see though that even if SoundCloud's future is a little murky, that there's a lot of great things coming up for Plazma Z. Plus, there's also a lot of services out there like Anchor and others that you could try that could even still get the word out more. Just so many great services out there in case that SoundCloud does meet an untimely end indeed. But if SoundCloud does meet that untimely end, just share your thoughts on what that would mean to you if something unfortunate like that would happen.
Well, if something unfortunate were to happen to SoundCloud, yeah, it would. I don't think it would be devastating to me. It would suck. And yeah, I'd have to be paying a little bit more attention and find a new outlet for where all of my music can be posted and shared with the rest of the world. I have a Facebook page for my artist brand now, which is nice and it's helpful. But yeah, I'd say I would definitely feel the effects of SoundCloud meeting an untimely end, but it wouldn't, be my downfall whatsoever. Because, as an artist, and I'm sure other artists out there would agree with me, we're going to continue to grow. The ones who keep putting in the effort. We're going to continue to grow, and we're going to keep finding new ways to get out there and get our music out to the world and, share what we feel emotionally through music with the world. And like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of other options out there, but yeah, SoundCloud, it was, if it does meet its end, it's been nice to have that outlet to share my music with people. But I do think that it'll force a lot of artists to rethink how they do everything, how they get their music out there, and maybe be a little more careful and have a lot more of a safer approach, so to speak. Not that SoundCloud isn't safe, but I've seen countless things happen on SoundCloud, on YouTube, on Reverb Nation, Bandcamp, you name it.
But you're saying that artists will be more careful about covering in case of contingencies such as what may go on with SoundCloud. Is that correct?
Yeah. And there was a time where I actually had music not stolen from me, but someone. No, okay, yeah, it was stolen from me. I had a beat stolen from me, because I used to post a lot of instrumentals. And people have found ways to YouTube to MP3 things. I don't know how to YouTube, or I don't know how to SoundCloud to MP3, but someone figured out how to do it because I didn't let them download it. And sure enough, here I get, a message from one of my friends. Hey, this channel I followed just used your beat. Did you give me okay for that? And I was like, no, the heck, I didn't give him the okay. So there's a lot of people in the music industry in general who are sharks. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of being careful. A lot of them are sharks. They're just looking for an opportunity to, I don't know, take advantage of.
Piracy's been going on for quite a long time, Elijah. I can't agree with you more on that, especially with, from the heights of Napster to even now where, the simple transference of files, like you said, to create MP3s, it can just, done in a snap. And for artists such as yourself, that's definitely, like I said, being smarter and being safer about your products and your music, about how it's distributed, and having that keen eye on it is definitely very, very important and needed. I'm definitely glad that you're doing it. Looks like 100%. So, and SoundCloud looks like you said, exactly. And those were very poignant words, that it's now a wake up call to artists to do just that. Yeah. So that's definitely some pointed words indeed from the man they call Plazma Z. And before we introduce a song from Plazma Z, which he's going to do, let everybody know once again how they can get hold of all your great tracks from Plazma Z.
You guys can check me out on Facebook, SoundCloud, and Instagram as Plazma Z. I think on Instagram I'm Plazma _Z. That's PLAZMA _Z. And then I'm in all caps Plazma space Z on Facebook, and then SoundCloud, same thing. So.
Oh, that's awesome indeed. So check out his music today. I know I have. Josh and I love his music. We've been fortunate enough to, like I said, on the Pop Culture Cosmos. Josh has used it for Humanican media stuff. And I just tell you what, his stuff is really great to listen to. And we wish you nothing but the best of success. And I know you're coming back in the near future to talk some Destiny 2 with me as well here in the month of September. So definitely looking forward to that as well. But as we head on out here, we got to play, we love to play our song just before the first break. So Elijah, I will kick it over to you as for the song coming up today, and that will be
Shadows of Chernobyl, and you're listening to Pop Culture Cosmos.
That's awesome. That's correct. And the PCC Multiverse.